Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be why you shouldn't date women whose fathers did a bad job raising them. This particular email is a little longer than most, but what's interesting is this particular guy was dating this woman for about 8 months. He said she had a lot of trauma and daddy issues from her upbringing. However, she was supposedly working on herself. She was into self-help. I think she might have even been getting some therapy, but she was very, very emotionally, mentally, and verbally abusive towards him. They were on again, off again. Plus, there are lots of male orbiters, beta male orbiters, and backup guys to date. And every time they were off, she was already out with another dude. That shows that she's incredibly insecure. That if you're dating somebody for 8 months, they can't even go 24 hours, without, in essence, jumping onto another guy. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign of somebody that is a good match to date. Because the idea with applying what's in the book, it's going to bring out the best in the best women. And the women that are screwed up and messed up, it's going to repulse them and piss them off really quickly. When they blow their top and they're an asshole to you, or maybe they just ghost you, you dodge a bullet because you're trying to vet properly. You want to make sure that you're dating a girl who's easygoing, easy to get along with, communicates well, ideally has a good relationship with her mom and especially the father, and they have to communicate well. I've seen also lots of times over the years, guys go, "Oh, she's got a good relationship with her dad," and I was like, "All right, well, tell me about that." And then they start talking, and then it turns out the dad is a doormat. The wife doesn't respect the dad. The daughters don't respect the dad, and if none of the women in the family respect the man, the head of the household, it's a 99% certainty that they're not going to respect you or any other man for that matter. And they're going to be hell on wheels to date. And that has been my personal experience. Women that were raised by a good, strong father where dad is the head of the household, he's the man of the family, and the daughters admire, respect, and look up to daddy, and they do what daddy tells them, those are good women to date. Easygoing, easy to get along with. You talk about anything. But women who had no father or whose dads or just did a bad job raising them, it's like whatever behavior is modeled between the mother and the father is typically what the kids are going to adopt. And so you'll see, I mean, it's, like I said, this email is a little longer than most, but I picked it because there's just a lot of good stuff in here. I mean, it's bad stuff, but it's a lot of good bad stuff and a lot of bad behavior for you to notice and to recognize in case you start dating a woman that is exhibiting these behaviors, so you can tap out and get the hell out, because you're not going to fix these women. If they haven't done the work on themselves, they're not willing to get therapy, and if they are getting therapy, if it doesn't get any better, you can't work with that. It's nice that they want to help themselves, but what I've seen is that most women that come from a broken home, they're just 99% of the time, 98% of the time, they're too fucked up. And it's not your job to fix them or to save them or to be Captain Save-A-Ho. So pay attention to all these like red flags and this trashy behavior. So he says, "Hey coach, thank you for help pushing all of us to see reality a bit more clearly. I could use your help. My ex and I were dating for about 8 months. I'm 32, and this was my first semi-healthy, committed relationship in a while. I played it slow and smooth at fast. She chased me. She ended up loving me, and we had a ton of great sex, adventures, and during the relationship, we prioritized self-help and growth. We grew a ton. We are very different people. Then we started dating, and I would never replace what we did together. We were a bit on and off during the relationship. She has deep trauma, and as you say, girls with bad father figures can be a little disrespectful. She works diligently on fixing herself, and she's very intelligent and experimental with her self-improvement." I think that's wonderful, and I think that's great. However, how does she treat you? It's great that she's in therapy and counseling and does self-help and all those things, but if she's still an asshole to you, if she's still nasty to you, if one day she's sweet as pie and the next day she calls you and she's just acting crazy and angry and mean and nasty just because she woke up on the wrong side of the bed, that's not easy going and easy to get along with. That's somebody that is a difficult, messed up pain in the ass. Again, whatever behavior is modeled by the family at home is typically what they're going to exhibit when they become adults themselves. That's just the way it is. It sucks. Most people aren't going to be willing to do what needs to be done to turn themselves around. And even though this woman is doing it, it's obviously early in the process. And you'll see as I get further in this email, it's like, doesn't look like it's helping very much. He says this is confusing because she says the right things and knows what's healthy, but she's compelled by her trauma and triggers still. It's like, that's why you look at her actions. She says all the right things, but what do her actions show? What does she say versus what does she do? She says one thing and then does another. My faults are that I have trauma as well and have a control and clingy issues. I'm much better at handling them these days, but it's a battle. It is what it is. Well, you got to do better, man. I still have to be a man despite my insides. This is why it's so important to date a woman who brings peace in your life. Peace. I want some peace, woman. If you got a woman that's constantly bringing chaos and drama and you try to set healthy boundaries and she just continues to act like a lunatic, it's like, you're not going to fix that. It's not your fault. It's not your problem. It's not your issue to address. You can tell her, you can call her out on it, but if she just continues to... She could say, oh, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to do this, but if she just continues abusing you, it's like, you got to tap out. Unless you want to tolerate the abuse. Because the longer you stay, the more she learns that men will put up with it. If you put up with it, then it basically enables her behavior to continue doing it. The only thing that really, pain is life's change agent. The only way she's going to change is if she keeps losing good men. But unfortunately, most guys will put up with her crap until they just can't take it anymore, usually. Or worse, they marry her. When we would separate, she would generally talk to another guy or two, but never do anything about it. Oh, sure. Okay. I got a bridge to sell you if you really believe that. It hurts a little to know that she rebounds so quickly. That's what happens when daddy's not around. She doesn't have a strong father figure. She's looking for safety. She's looking for masculinity. And if she doesn't feel she can get it from you, she's trying to get it from the next guy. Because again, there's no daddy. There's no stability. She doesn't know what to look for. She doesn't know which men are trustworthy or which men to trust. So she tends to have a bunch of dudes that are kind of like her Frankenstein boyfriend project. But every time she'd find a way to come back into my life and agree to change. Right. That's nice. That's sweet that she agreed to change. However, did she actually change? Or did she just Kentucky guarantee you? He says, or if it's my fault, I would apologize and change my behavior. The last time I broke up with her, the night before, she had been screaming hysterically about some trigger. It's like, yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. I don't put up with that shit. If you're going to be nasty, if you're going to badger me, if you're going to scream at me or yell, it's like, no, I'm out. I don't put up with that. I mean, you guys, if you've seen the videos with Katie and myself and the girls, it's like I've known her for over 20 years at this point, and she never once has raised her voice at me. And all the time we were together and all these years since, whenever we talk, it's like she's always sweet as pie because she was raised by a good family. After we got through the part where she was very defensive, she just cried a lot because she can see she's broken. Well, again, that's not your fault. You didn't break her. Her dad and her mom did that. I didn't let her walk all over me, and when she was upset, but was very daddy about the parts where she deserved some comfort, and she loved it and fell asleep on me. The next morning, this is like, you think, oh, she apologized. Hey, sorry for being a bitch. You're thinking, maybe there's some hope. And then the next day, what happens? You wake up with the hot but crazy Targaryen dragon lady who just breathes fire on everything and just destroys everything. Women are just like that. That's what she saw modeled growing up. The next morning, she gives me an attitude on her way out of the door about something she was disappointed about. And when I called her out on the attitude, I got an apology along with a bunch of excuses. More excuse. Oh, I'll be better. I'm going to change. I promise. She said she didn't have the emotional capacity to deal with it right now. It was annoying to have to deal with my anger, but she's out enjoying herself. She told me it's the best time she had in a while, and I told her she better come back tonight and make amends or come get her stuff. She came back and was all giggly and happy, which was annoying considering how she left me feeling. I ended up breaking it off because she walked all over my feelings all the time. It's been about 2 to 3 weeks. She's single and dating other people, and there's a lot of interesting guys out there, and she rebounds quickly, as I said. Personally, I'm not very motivated to find someone now, but the options are limited compared to her options. Well, if she's attractive, it's like most women can go out and shake their moneymaker at some random dude, and they can go home and get laid anytime they want. Us guys, especially like in this case, he's been off and on for 8 months. He's probably thinking he's emotionally attached. He's hoping, okay, well, she'll get the hint. She'll work on herself. She'll really make the changes, and then she'll come back a changed woman. Well, they've been back and forth several times, and what's changed? She just goes and starts hooking up with another guy. She's not trying to fix anything, and that's what tells you everything you need to know. If you dump a girl because of her behavior, and you're like, I'll give you another chance if you change this, and she just doesn't change the behavior and has the attitude of, hey, this is how I am, take it or leave it, and then just starts fucking other guys, it's like, well, there's your answer. She doesn't love you enough, appreciate you enough, value you enough to change her behavior because there's just another thirsty guy willing to line up and put up with her crap. So it was like, she's his problem now. It hurts that she's dating interesting guys and she likes to tell me about it and make me jealous because she's a brat and wants my attention. Well, you're giving it to her, so you need to knock it off. He says it works a little too, and I am seeing her on Valentine's Day, which I planned prior to making me jealous. Surely she will fall for me all over again while I make her feel like a little girl in a fun, sexy daddy's presence, but is that what I want? Well, it looks like you're in a relationship with a jack in the box and a woman who you're part of her Frankenstein boyfriend project. The fact that she's got all these guys around and as soon as things get in the rocks, she's calling them, she doesn't care. If she doesn't get the attention and the love from you that she wants, she just gets it from somebody else. Remember, she never had a stable dad at home. So she doesn't know what stability looks like. There's no one guy that she goes to. She's got a whole host of dudes. She's got a whole rotation of guys on her practice squad. And you're just one of them. He says, I can't figure out if she's just a woman or she's extra crazy and a pain in the ass. She's extra crazy and a pain in the ass, bro. She brings so many beautiful things into my life when we are together, but at the cost of my peace often. Well, that's the problem. That's why it's a deal breaker. All men need a woman to bring peace into their life. If a chick just brings drama and chaos, she's got to go. She's not going to fix it. You've given her countless chances over the last 8-9 months, and nothing's changed. She says she's going to change, but what actually changes? Nothing. We have a strong connection intellectually and spiritually, and she's getting sexier too. We really had a fun phone call last night, and she's really infatuated with me. It's like, calm down, bro. It's like, come on. You're being a little delusional. I know that my jealousy is fueling some of my wanting her back, but I do want her. Well, rejection breeds obsession. She, instead of changing her behavior, is showing you through her actions that she'd just rather go fuck other guys. She's not going to change. It's too easy to get somebody else. It's not a big deal to her. And she doesn't look at losing you like a big loss. That's just a harsh reality. I don't know how to handle this. Well, you dumped her because her behavior was inappropriate, so stop chasing her. You don't break up with her and then ask her out on Valentine's Day. You only give her another chance if she's really changed and she's remorseful and is like, I promise you, this is it. It'll never happen again. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna look at what you do, not what you say. That sounds nice. I'll give you one more chance, but if you start this shit all over again, it's like I'm kicking you to the curb and I'm gonna block your number and we're never gonna speak again. I don't need this in my life. But obviously you're not doing that, and all that does is tell her she can have her cake and eat it too, and she can keep getting away with being an ass to you. Because why should she change? You put up with it. These other guys put up with it. But nobody's putting their foot down. She's not experiencing losing you forever because of her behavior. She can see some of my jealousy and enjoys it, but I don't simp. I'm weird and kind of like jealousy in some ways, but it's kind of making me try to possess her again. You must love in such a way that the person you love feels free. and you're trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho for a woman that doesn't look very loyal, dude. If you were together 8 months off and on, and as soon as you push her away or she dumps you, she's riding somebody else's dick. You say, "Oh, nothing's really happening." It was like, that's kind of delusional. She said, "If I'm a good daddy for a few weeks, she'll consider it." Oh, let me read that again. Remember, he's the one that supposedly broke up with her. And so despite what he says, look at what he's communicated to her. She said, "If I'm a good daddy for a few weeks, she'll consider it. When the real choice is in my hands to pursue or not. I can always get her back unless she gets attached to someone else." Come on, man. Have some self-respect. This is kind of looking pathetic at this point here. "I have a really hard time figuring out how to play this. I can't tell when I need to stand my ground, when I should leave her on red and give very little to make her chase, when I should be indifferent, and when I am letting her walk on me and losing respect. It's so hard." Well, dude, she walks all over you. You've tried to set healthy boundaries, and she constantly violates them. So you have to enforce them now at this point. She's not changing. Nothing's changed. And you, quite frankly, you fold like a cheap deck chair. All she's got to do is push on you, and you fold. And meanwhile, she's still out fucking other guys, and you're making excuses. "Oh, I think I can win her back." Why? Why would you want to put up with this? She already disturbs your peace and doesn't care to change. And it's pretty clear that you're communicating that you're going to continue to let her get away with it. What does a man do when his girl has a little attitude? Well, quite frankly, you don't date women like this. The book is designed, if you actually implemented what was in the book, to bounce women like this out of your life. And yet you keep making excuses for her. You're tolerating her behavior. So that communicates to her that she doesn't need to change anything. Does he make her apologize? Does he ignore it and not feed it? Does he just make a joke? Do I want her back, or am I just lonely and jealous? I'd say you're lonely and jealous, and you're insecure. Deep down, you probably have a limiting belief that says you don't deserve to have the love you want, so you stay involved with a lunatic like this who just abuses you. Women that are blowing their top and yelling at you, is like, that's a deal breaker. You don't put up with that. You don't marry somebody like that. You don't wife up a hoe. You don't wife up trailer trash. You give them their walking papers. Let the next guy deal with it. Am I the problem based on what you can read between these lines, or is this just too much chaos? It's too much chaos. She's not normal. She's not healthy. Again, there's like dozens of videos that I did with Katie. We answered all kinds of questions. It's like, she's sweet as pie. And women like that are extremely rare. So are women that were raised in good households. And that should be the standard. Easygoing, easy to get along with. And this woman is the opposite of that. Period. You already have enough information. You had 8 months with this girl. Nothing changed. And, while you're sitting there writing this email, she's fucking Chad Thundercock and who knows how many other guys. I want to be so strong a person that she does not leave me in a state of anxiety or anger so often. That's why you broke up with her, because her behavior did not change, and you need to stick to that. You can't dump her because of her behavior and then be groveling for her to spend time with you. That makes you look pathetic, and that's the kind of thing that causes her to lose all respect for you, keep you stuck in friend zone, and give you blue balls as she dicks you over. It's like, come on, man, have some self-respect. Let it go, man. I wouldn't call or text this woman for any reason. I would have the attitude like, hey, I don't want to get back together with you. Until I see some big changes in you, it's like, we're done. It's like, and you don't seem to be trying to change anything. All you're trying to do is go off and fuck other guys and rub them in my face. It's like, I'm giving you the opportunity to fix your behavior, so I'll give you another chance, but all you seem to want to do is, hey, look, I can fuck this other guy. It was like, great. If you think you can do better than me, then go. Don't come back. Go hang out with that guy. I'm not going to give you another chance if this is the way you're going to treat me. So treat me the way I want to be treated, or lose my number. Pretty simple. So if you got a question or a challenge and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.